I know it's hard for everyone now, and a lot of people are depressed, and it's tough being at home, and it's tough not, making what you used to make. But one thing that'll always make you feel better is doing some physical exercise. Go for a run, go for a swim, go for a bike ride, get those feel-good endorphins flowing, and you will turn things around. A lot of people a lot worse off than you have turned around from very bad situations through physical exercise. And there's no such thing as I don't have time or I can't. If I can, you can.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Sessions, a video podcast brought to you by Pro Studio, where we discuss an entrepreneur's business life and while we edit, some social media as well.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sessions. Today I am joined by the one and only Gino Chiappini. Did my boxing announcement come through?
Thanks,
how would you actually do that? How would you say that?
It was a bit too toned down to be a proper boxing. I think you need to give it some more heart.
Okay. And in the right corner we have Gino Chiappini. Is that a lot better?
That's better.
Okay, cool stuff. Okay, before we get into things, I also would like to give a shout out to Naucliffe Water. Thank you for making these episodes possible. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the person I'm sitting with today, I think this is the kind of person that Samuel L. Jackson would refer to as a bad motherfucker, if I'm not wrong. A boxer, I know you asked me not to say this, but a full-time manager at a service station, yes. A model. What else am I missing, Gino?
Model, boxing trainer. I'm a trainer as well. And that's pretty much it. Keeps me busy.
I would think so. Okay, so let's get right into the juicy bits of it. So it's just a bit more personal information about you. Where are you from? What is it exactly that you do? I mean, I touched on some things, but you can give us a bit more detail about what it is.
I was born here the 7th of March, 1994. Lived here all my life. I started in fashion. I was 18 years old in 2012. I did my first fashion show when it was the Namibian Fashion Week. Now it's the Windhoek Fashion Week. So it's almost 10 years in fashion, and I started boxing. I think I started boxing when I was 20. It was 2014. Yeah, so almost 7 years in boxing as well. And then I run a service station full time. It helps to pay the bills and to pay for my studies. So, yeah.
Oh, you study as well?
Yeah, I'm studying business administration at UNAM. Shout out UNAM.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I train people. I train people in the mornings and the evenings at the Sosa Studio. It's a great new mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, boxing club that opened in Independence Avenue at the old craft center.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
And
it's a really nice spot.
A lot of interest in it?
A lot of interest. We have a lot of guys, more guys coming each week. We have girls, we have business people, we have white-collar boxers and fighters that are there just mostly for fitness. They are girls, they are professional fighters. So it's like a whole mix of everything, but it's a very nice spot. Very nice spot.
Okay, awesome stuff. Now, the one question I want to ask you actually is, you said your big things is boxing and it's modeling. Mm-hmm. Now, do those two not interfere with each other? I mean, you have to keep a pretty face for the modeling.
I work a lot on my defense when I do box, so I try and keep my face not to get too marked up, but it's part of the game. And I think if eventually something does happen to my face, it's just character. And I mean, I'm still who I am. I still have the experience. And I've had lots of blue eyes, and I've shown up for an audition or for a casting, and they were like, "No, I love it. It makes you look manly." And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Bad motherfucker.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't say that when I have a busted nose or something. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how far it goes.
Okay, cool stuff. That's actually what I wanted to. What is it? I actually wanted to ask you, and I lost my train of thought. Blue eyes. Okay. Let's get back to the questions at hand. Okay, so we're going to focus on both of your things, both of your big career choices here. So Expand a bit on your modeling career. You said you started that first before the boxing. How did you get into modeling? What was the idea behind it? If you can tell us a bit more.
Okay, no problem. When I went to go get my suit for my matric farewell in 2012, the guy that sold me my suit was an Angolan gentleman. I do not recall his name, but he was a very nice guy. And he had connections with the first lady at the time. Our president was Hifikepunye Pohamba, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And it was his wife. And she had a fashion show, like a charity show at the State House, the old State House, which is in Eros, close to the church. Yeah. And so we went there, and I did a bit of modeling. He said, "No, I must come. I look great in the suit. Come by, check it out." And that day I met Charlotte Skuman, Charlie.
Charlie from Gondwana.
Shout out Charlie from Gondwana.
Hey, Charlie.
I met her that day, and she got me into the Namibian Fashion Week. That was like 2 or 3 weeks after this, the charity show that I did. Like super raw, didn't know what I was doing, like really stiff about it. And then we got some coaching for the Fashion Week, and I met a lot of people. I met Luis Munana there, who is now the organizer of the Windhoek Fashion Week that I now do. So I met all these great people. Worked for David Tlale, who's now a international designer. He's
huge,
very well known. Yeah, so I worked for him and got a lot of experience, and have been doing it ever since. But not really like as a main thing. Like I'm not at home every day looking for modeling jobs. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, because there's not really enough of it to make a sustainable career.
Yeah, of course.
In Namibia, and it's hard to get to South Africa if you don't know people overseas. It's about who you know in the fashion industry more than anything else.
And it's a bit limited here as well.
Definitely limited, especially for male models. I think for females it's a bit more, because I know a lot more females that have gone overseas and have really made it big. So I think for the men it's a bit more limited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gino, tell us a bit more about how you got into your boxing career.
Well, at school, it was always a bit of bullying. I know it's like an old cliche, but...
Did you do the bullying?
No. On the contrary.
You were the bullied one.
Yes. I was not the man I am today in high school, The self-confidence was at an all-time low. So, I think I had my first fight. When I was 16, like proper fight, when I was 16 years old. And I don't know if I should say this, but it was with a very well-respected businessman in town, like a very powerful businessman, his son.
Okay, not the businessman himself.
No, not the businessman himself, but his son. Like, they basically owned the school, in their pocket. And he gave me a slap. I don't even remember what we were arguing about. Gave me a slap, beat the shit out of him. Like right there. The slap was the only punch he got in. Just beat the shit out of him. And then...
The catalyst.
Yeah. And then it was like, oh, this shit works. It's like, ding. And then a few months after that, I had another fight for some reason. We were sitting in an exam hall, and there was like this rugby player guy sitting next to me. I wasn't a big guy. I weighed like 60 something in matric.
Marmaniki.
Marmaniki. And this big guy, he was sitting there, and his friends were throwing stuff at him or whatever. I don't even remember the small details, but they told him that it was me. And it was the last day of, I think, 11th grade or something. And I was standing outside the hall, and this guy, and like two of my friends told me like, hey bro, this guy's gonna come bliksem you now, poser. Like, he's on his way to bliksem you. Like, he told him, and I saw the guy coming. I'm like, okay, if he comes here, he's gonna get it. And he came there, and he said something to me, but he grabbed me by the scruff of the neck, by the collar, and he pushed me against the wall. And when he pushed me against the wall, I just hit him with the right hand, and we fought, and I don't know what happened, but somehow I ended up on the ground, like on my knees and my arms, and he was on top of me, hitting me. And somehow I caught him by the collar, pulled him over me. And then as we both got up, I still had hold of his neck. and then I kneed him in the face, like lights out, And that was like my whole school fighting experience. But as you get like a reputation for this shit that you don't really want, it just happens, and you have to defend yourself. So when I was 20, I just thought, well, let me learn how to do this properly, because I'm quite good at it for some reason. So a friend of mine, John the Rock Prophet, Ruan Greef. John the Rock Prophet.
Rookies, if you're listening, I want you on the show sometime, man, please.
Yes, he's in Germany now, living the life. He took me to my first proper boxing class in the heart of Katatura at Salute Boxing Academy, which was always Soweto Boxing Club.
Okay.
And I walked in there, and there was Paulus Ambunda was there, Wilberforce, Chiappini was there, Tyson Oshona, all of these big names, and those guys didn't even speak to me, I think, for the first year.
They thought, like, who's the Shirumbu? Eh?
Yeah, who's the Shirumbu? Like, everyone spoke Oshibabu. I couldn't understand shit. And I knew they were talking about me. And the first day I got there, they told me I had to spar. Like, everyone, if you get there the first day, you have to spar, so they can see if you're there for fitness or if you are actually going to fight, if you have the balls. And they put me against this big guy. I think I weighed like 90 at the time. But this guy was probably over 110, like
Ouch.
Amateur heavyweight for like a few years. And this guy just beat the shit out of me. He chopped me like 3 times. I didn't know how to fight. Like, honestly, you think you don't know shit. Go to a boxing gym. Every local tough guy, you'll get your ass handed to you. 10-0.
Yeah, once you're in the ring, eh?
Once you're in the ring is not a street fight. It's a whole different thing.
It's tactical.
Yeah, you have to be very calm. You have to be calm in an uncalm situation. That's really what boxing is. And beat the shit out of me. But I've been there ever since. I really enjoyed it in a strange way. It was very humbling.
No, I can see you smiling about it. So that's a good thing. You still have a good smile as well.
Luckily.
Not crooked
we don't know
yet.
for how long.
So, Gino, your brand, what would you say is your brand? I mean, you are Gino Chiappini,
Yes.
so you are the model. If you can talk a bit more about that.
Yes, my brand, I try and create a content. I try and work with different brands. I work with SRS Skin, which is a local brand, which is just launched end of last year, and they got me on board to promote some of their stuff. So I do that. I do the same for Shilongo Leatherworks, which is a very well established brand here in Namibia. And this really all started by the opportunity given to me by Gondwana early last year. Yeah, Gondwana. Gondwana, shout out. So yeah, they really started it for me, that people saw that what I can do and how I work professionally, and always try and give my best with whatever job I'm doing. If it's content, if it's a shoot, if it's a video, whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do my best. So that's what I try and do. Try and get myself out there. I try and start some YouTube videos, just as much as you can do on the social media platforms. In this day and age, you have to. I mean, Instagram is a bit of a struggle still at the moment to build. It takes a bit longer than Facebook. I use Facebook mostly just for business.
You don't mix your brands, do you? It's your boxing,
Yeah.
your fitness, and then it's your modeling. It's two separate
It's
things.
two separate things, yeah. Because a lot of the guys don't want to see you in underwear pictures on your boxing page. People are going to think this guy can't fight.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it might be a tactic. That guy can fight, and then you nail them.
Yeah, I should actually try that.
All right, it's. I just actually want to know which one of those actually performs the best.
Forms the base, definitely the modeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a lot of the stuff I do for Leon Engelberg, who has also been on your show.
Leon.
Yeah, Leon, shout out. I worked with him a lot. He also gave me a massive an opportunity, and his stuff is like some of the most viewed stuff on my page, and Gondwana stuff, of course. But like those stuff do the best stuff where I interact with content, with new products and stuff like that, which I help get out there for the various artists and designers. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's like my main aim with Facebook and Instagram. I don't really do the boxing that much on my social media because I think it takes care of itself. You have to put more work into the fashion industry.
Yeah, that's true. Eh?
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This is more for your boxing specifically.
That's definitely only
Is
for the boxing.
the idea behind the channel just to actually just showcase your moves, what you're doing, or your training videos? What specifically is it that you're trying to achieve with
It's
the
just
YouTube channel?
It's just to show everyone here that you can train like on your own with basic stuff. Like I have most of my videos started in my garage gym with like 2 or 3 bags, a skipping rope, and some boxing gloves. And I have guys that I've trained now for a few years, and they are on the verge of going to fight for amateur titles and stuff like this. So you
trained them out of your garage.
I trained them out of my garage from nothing. Like they couldn't even throw a punch when they got to me. And the one guy, he lost like 15 kilogram in like a month. So if you really put your mind to it, and that's no special dieting, that's
training.
That's just like 3 times a week. That's all it is. But boxing is the highest intensity training that you can do, in my opinion. And I've done almost every single form of training that you can think of. So I know.
Okay, well, that's cool. And this is something you also want to show more on your channel?
Yeah, like now at the Sosa studio, I want to show like how I train the women, how I train the younger kids and everything like that. And just to show people that there is a spot here where you can go. Because not everyone wants to go to Katatura. It's very intimidating, to go out there on your own.
Yeah, people aren't always familiar with...
they don't know where it is. Some people might feel it's unsafe, although it is very safe. But they don't want to go there. That's more for like the professional or amateur, like real fighters. But here you can come to us. We do fitness. We teach young kids, because that's something that is really that's lost here with us. You're in Namibia. We don't have an amateur system. We don't have young kids that really come through. Like I see now at our gym, like there's maybe 10, 15 amateur, like young boys that are there, and those are going to be the boys that are going to fight for the next 4 or 5 years in the system that might go to the Olympics and stuff like that. So once they are out, who's going to be next?
Yeah, that's true.
I want to go to schools, and I want to tell the people, like, this is a big sport. Like, we've had proper world champions. We've had very good world champions. But because there's no development, there's not anyone that even knows it's a sport of such high caliber. And especially not white kids. I mean,
but I think you, when we spoke once before, I think you mentioned that it's more than just. There's a bit of a misconception around boxing. Maybe that's why. One of the reasons why not many younger people, kids in school, don't really necessarily do it. But you said it's way more to it than just boxing.
Very true. Like most people think, like I always tell people, the thing that will stop the bullying in all schools is teaching that specific kid how to box. And then they say, no, but how can you teach the one who bullies to box? It'll just make him more aggressive. No, it won't. Because you can't do the things you do at school or at home in a boxing gym. Because there is always someone who will put you in your place. And that, like, the parents come to me, they're like, my son, I don't know who he is when he's here with you. I don't recognize him. Because at home he's an animal. He doesn't listen to me. He talks back. He fights with his siblings. I'm like, well, if he did any of that here, it would be a problem. If he did that at the gym, it would be a problem. Like at the gym, he's soft-spoken. He has good manners. He respects authority, and that is what boxing will teach you. If more kids get into it, it builds such self-confidence in you to know that you can handle yourself in any situation that might arise at any time. Because that's what most people are self-confident about themselves. Like they don't know how to defend themselves. They're always insecure about that. I think I asked you this before. If you walk into a room full of people, how do you feel?
Intimidated,
insecure. You know, that's how most people feel. You know, I never feel like that, and some of my colleagues, they won't ever have that feeling, because you have that experience. You know how to be calm in a very uncalm situation. You know, you have to be calm in a fight. If you get into a fight and you just run around and start throwing hard punches, you know, you will lose. You have to be very calm. You have to keep your eyes open while someone is hitting you, and it teaches you a deep discipline and a deep appreciation of karma. You know, you don't want to hurt anyone too much that you know, out of unnecessarily, you know, because it's a brutal sport, boxing. And like one day you're the nail, and the next day you can be the hammer. It changes.
That kind of makes sense to me, for especially when you say it's maybe a possible way to actually deal with a bully issue at school, because one day you're the nail, the next day you're the hammer, so you have a sense of empathy. You understand that.
No, it feels to be on the other side. Yeah, definitely.
You know what it feels like to take a punch and give a punch.
Yeah.
Okay, Gino. I think we established you use social media as a business tool. I actually want to know, on both instances, your first paycheck for modeling, your first paycheck, or whatever money you made through modeling and boxing, what did you do with that paycheck?
My first modeling paycheck, that was the show I did for the Namibia Fashion Week back in 2012. Yes, and it was a lot of money too at that time. I think I got like $5,000 or something for like 2 nights. And I was matric, so obviously it went to matric holiday, which is a lot of drinking and a lot of partying. So not the most productive use of money I've ever had in my life. But that's how you learn, and I definitely was enjoyed, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Boxing, I will be earning my first paycheck when I make my professional debut the 10th of April at the country club. For anyone watching, want to come out and watch me the 10th of April, come out in big numbers. It's going to be a great show.
Awesome. 10th of April.
10th of April, the
2021.
Windhoek Country Club 2021, from 3 o'clock until late.
Awesome stuff. I will definitely be there.
You better be there.
I'll bring a camera. What are you currently obsessed with right now? Like, what is something that you're currently consuming?
What I'm obsessed with running at the moment.
With running?
I run a bit too much, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to run a sub 40-minute 10K. I ran a sub 20-minute 5K earlier this year.
My word.
Yeah, and we came second at the NTF. That's the Namibia Triathlon Federation. We came second as a team at the national championships end of January. So now they have another one coming up at One Up Dam, which is an OTB event, which we came third in last year, which we want to win. And we came in second in the Sandman, which is the 1st of December every year. We came second last year. It was only our third one, and so this year we also want to win that bad, because we only lost by 2 minutes.
Jeez.
So yeah, we really want to. I'm obsessed with
running.
Yeah, het wil gedoen word. So this past weekends we did a challenge that they do in America. That I don't know if you know David Goggins. I'm sure people you watching out there will know who David Goggins is. He's a crazy motherfucker. Yeah, he has the world record for pull-ups. He did like 4,000.
He's not Namibian, I assume.
No, he's crazy. He's only the 36th black male ever to complete the SEAL training in the military from the 1940s when it was first introduced. So, he weighed like 380 pounds. And he lost all of that, and now he's one of the fittest people. Like, he's a really inspirational story. So he has this thing where him and his friends, they run 4 miles, which is 6.4 kilometers. They run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So, yeah, so basically we started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which was wrong. You should have started. You should have had it properly planned. Like, you should have went like 1 o'clock at night or in the morning. You should start, so you should sleep the whole night, then wake up at 1 and then start. Like we were already at a disadvantage there.
Yeah, because you started in the middle of the day.
Middle of the day, which was our quickest run.
Yes, and Namibia is quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite cool. Luckily, we went to Swakop to do all this.
Oh, nice.
Otherwise,
Okay.
we would have died. So we started at 1. We did the first, and we only managed 57, I think, 0.8 kilometers. That was 9 out of the 12 runs we finished, because my 2 colleagues who did it with me, their knees just wouldn't allow them to do anymore, and my feet, like, I've got pluckies on now because I can't wear shoes. Like, for the past 2 days, my feet are just torn to shreds.
For anybody who wants to know, yes, I saw his feet before we started this interview, and they don't look too great at the moment. But still, 50 what Ks?
57.
57 Ks. And you said only 57 Ks. I bet there's a bunch of people out there going like, brah, shut up. You did well.
Yeah, but the thing is, what makes it so hard is that 4 hours, like, you can't really sleep. I think in the whole 36 hours we were busy, we only slept, I think, 3.5 hours. Because once you run, you only have like 3 hours, 20 minutes left before your next run. So in that time, you quickly like drink a few shakes and you rehydrate, because I lose a lot of water. And then you try and eat something as much as you can, basically. But you can only eat up to about an hour and a half before the next run. Otherwise, it'll mess you up. So then you try and sleep like for half an hour. But we found that makes you feel even worse. So we just stayed awake, like from the first morning onwards. We just stayed awake and just toughed it out, like played games, talked to each other, iced our feet, iced everything. So, yeah,
that's some high-level commitment.
It was quite an experience. But next year we are going to finish it. We're going to have it properly planned. We're going to take the right food, because we were struggling with food as well.
Not going to start in the middle of the
middle
bloody
of the day.
No. Okay. Geez, okay, but that's insane.
Yeah.
And maybe on that topic, modeling in Namibia. Okay, let's first stick to sport. Sport in Namibia. I think it's the general thing with sport in Namibia is that nobody can really afford to do it full time, because we don't really have any form of sponsorship. Maybe small sponsorships, but nothing to really keep someone afloat during a sporting career. Yeah. And I believe a sportswoman career is quite short.
Yeah.
And what do you think we can do to actually change that a bit? Because sport is that one thing that actually uplifts a nation a bit, and it's a sense of national pride when it comes to sport. What do you think one can actually do? Maybe look at social media to actually bring it more to the forefront.
Now, the thing is, if you're not at that top upper echelon of sport, if you're any athlete, male or female or whatever, if you're not at that top upper echelon, nobody really cares about you. Like, there's so many great athletes here, but the thing for us, we don't have an amateur system that's funded by the government the same way that other countries like Russia, for example. You can stay amateur there as long as you can. If you compete at, say, the Olympic Games or anything like that, they will pay you a salary per month, like you are a pro, but to stay amateur to compete for your country.
Okay.
Because if you are a pro, you only compete for yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's Russia, it's the UK, it's America has a great amateur system. But for us, we have so many great athletes. We have great sprinters like Jolene Jacobs. She's someone who gets quite a few sponsorships because she's smart. She uses social media and all of that stuff.
Do you think she'll be she'll be a good person to have on sessions?
I think so. She's got a lot of experience in her field.
Okay, shout out to you.
For sure. And like people like Julius Ndongo, who was a unified world champion. And you probably don't even know who that is.
No idea.
That's sad. Like, if Julius Ndongo was living in America or he was from the UK, he would be a multi-millionaire.
Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he still has to work like a 9 to 5 because of you just didn't make enough money. There's not that big sponsorship. You don't get TV deals here. You don't get commercials. You don't get like massive sponsors. So it just doesn't happen for them. I think the government really needs to step in and just make a good amateur system for these people that will help them, and even bring those old pros with all that experience, bring them back and give them a job so they have something to do after their careers, because you can only be a top level athlete until you exit your prime, which is, I think prime for men is about 31 to 35, 36. So you're just out of your prime.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely out. I'm on my way to 37.
You see, so if they have something for them to fall back on, so you don't have to go back to working a job, because no one wants to do that after you committed your whole life to this one thing, and now you have to go and basically start over and do something else. They must have a program to reintroduce those people so they share all of that experience. When I started boxing, Julius helped me when I was at AC Gym. He helped me tremendously. He was a coach, he was a friend, and he was just so amazing to just soak up this man's brain, just pick his brain from all these small things that you won't find anywhere else. And like, we are really privileged to be able to do that. Like, you can talk to world champions. Like, when I walked into my first gym, there was 3 former world champions in my
goodness.
gym. You won't see that anywhere else in America or in the UK. Those guys have their own gyms. You can't come when they come. All of that. So yeah, I think that's one thing we really struggle, because we have such tremendous talent, especially amateurs. But
Well, that's the thing as well. Even if the skills don't go away, I mean, like you said, person's past his or her prime, skills remain. So that it's an ideal situation to actually create a system or program for skills transfer, you know. That makes a lot of sense. And that can either be done like one-on-one with this person in the gym, or, for instance, something we do a lot, educational-wise, is to create videos that have
videos. That's what I was
and
thinking.
stuff.
Yeah.
And there's so many platforms to do that now.
Yeah, and they must just set up that so you can make like a video series of Namibian legends that give like tips or give an hour session, and I think people would really love that, because where else would you be able to get that?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
What would you say is your biggest challenge, both for modeling and for boxing? The biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges for me is just
keeping that face pretty.
Keeping that face pretty. Keeping that face pretty, yeah. My thing is, I hate sitting still and doing nothing. Like, I always need, I need this today, and I need this tomorrow, and I need this next week. So I love staying busy. Like, even if it's modeling jobs, I want one after another. And the same with boxing and training. I train every day, 2-3 times a day. For modeling, you get rusty if you don't do it every so often. Like, if you only do one show a year or 2 shows a year, you are not going to be as good as someone who does one every month or every 2 or 3 weeks. So that is something that is a big challenge for me, because I love being busy and I love working. I think I'm still young, and I want to do as much as I can now while I still can, while my face is still pretty. Fingers crossed. So if there was more I could do, I would definitely do it. I'm always keen for new things, trying new jobs. Even I've done everything. I've done underwear, I've done fashion, I've done runway, I've done commercial, I've done studio, I've done lifestyle, so...
You've got quite a repertoire when it comes to those kind of things.
But I think that's good. You must never put yourself in a box like, oh no, I only do runways.
Yeah.
Like, how can you only do runway when there's only so many jobs available throughout the year? Like, you have to do whatever you can. Whatever you can. Yeah, that's I feel. That's my biggest challenge.
And the boxing?
The boxing, there's so few fights for us here in Namibia, especially now with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, I've been trying to turn pro the whole of last year. and I only got a fight now
In a year's time.
in a year's time because we
Jeez,
couldn't get
okay.
anyone in like from Zimbabwe or Malawi or wherever. So we all have to fight local guys, and there's not really a lot of guys my weight. I fight at light heavyweight, which is 81 kilograms. Most of the guys are between 60, 70, and the low 50s, you know. So it's hard for a guy my size. I really want to go to Joburg, to the Smiths boxing gym. I know quite a few guys there that are all my size. So, sorry. But now with Corona, you know, there's not really anything we can do. You must just stay busy, keep training, stay in the gym, spar as much as you can. That's all you can do. And I've been sparring a lot. I spar with world-class guys like Demolisher, Lucas Mendomafolu. He became the WBO Africa middleweight champion 2 weeks ago. So I just want to say congrats to him again on the job well done. So
Yeah, tell him.
Lucas, you're a champ. So I spar with him. You know, he's great. He taught me a lot. He beat me up a lot, which helps. You can't always win. You learn nothing by winning all the time. That's what I always say.
That's true.
Never feel bad if you lose or if you get beaten up. Like, it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you can get up and keep going. Because most people don't even try. You know, so it doesn't matter if you lose or if you get hurt or you get knocked down. Because just remember, most people don't even have the balls to try.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I have this thing. You should actually try to say that in a Sylvester Stallone kind of accent, dude. You don't have the balls. Okay, that's
Most people don't even have the balls. Most people don't even try.
beautiful. And what's the biggest lesson you've learned? Let's go to boxing.
Biggest lesson I've learned is to never give up. Just always, the most important thing you can do is to be consistent. You know, don't have a bad spar and not come back to the gym for 2 or 3 months. That's not good for anyone, you know. If you have a bad spar, it happens. You're always going to have bad days. You're always going to have bad days in the gym, you know. But that bad spar is 1 hour, maybe 30 minutes out of 24 hours, you know. How can you let that 30 minutes affect your whole 24 hours? That's just stupid thinking. You have to make the most of each day, and that is the most important thing I've learned. Make the most of each day. Get as much done as you can. Wake up at 5. Do an early morning exercise. Do a workout. Go for a run. You'll feel great. You know, if you are up at 5 a.m., you will always feel great. If you just go for a run, get out of people say, "Oh, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time." I'm like, I'm sure you can make an hour somewhere in your day. Don't tell me you don't have time. I'm up at 5. I only go to bed at 11. You know, most nights. So there is always time. You don't need 8 hours of sleep. You don't need 10 hours of sleep. You don't.
And I second that.
Yes. You don't.
No, it's you get a lot more done with if you use the daylight hours, even the evening hours, and so on.
And it is going to be hard. It's going to be hard when you start. When you do anything, when you start, it's hard.
Yeah.
If you start running, you can't just go and run a half marathon the first day. Then, you know, it's going to break you. You're going to be discouraged. You must set a lot of small goals. Like each week, say, okay, this week I want to run 20K in the whole week. Then you do that. So then you get that positive energy, that energy boost. Like, oh, I did this. You know, this is a check for me. If you put a large goal, it takes a long time, and you get demotivated. If you have a lot of small goals, it keeps that motivation rolling. You know, each week, just put a small goal. Like, okay, I want to do my first 5K this week. Then the next week, I want to do 6. Or I want to do 7. You know, don't put like big goals, because you won't always you won't achieve them. Like what we did last weekend. We failed, but it was still a great experience. And
massive learning curve.
Massive learning curve. And the next time we will not fail, because now we have that experience. You are going to fail. You aren't going to win at everything the first time, but you might win the second or the third or the fourth time. Just keep trying, keep consistent, because most people never even try. And that's the truth.
I like that. So on that note, I want to know, what is your holy shit moment. Something that happened, and let's stick to boxing here. Something that happened that was like afterwards, either right there or a few days later or something, just like, holy shit, this actually happened.
Okay. So the last amateur fight I had was for the Olympic qualifying spot in Tokyo that was supposed to be in 2020. And they told me, okay, no, you have to go do this fight in Arandes. It's a national tournament. I was like, okay, who am I fighting? They're like, no, there's not anyone your weight, but we have this heavyweight guy. He's not really experienced, they told me. I was like, okay, sure, I'll fight him. How big is he? He's like, no, he's your size, he's your size. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll go. Got there, didn't have to make weight. It's the first time I've not cut weight for a fight, because I usually cut about 5 or 6K, and that really helps to like bring that dog out of you, you know. And we got to the weighed in. He wasn't there. We weighed in at separate times. Got to the ring. Got there to the venue. Was supposed to fight at 11. I think I got in the ring like 1:15 or 1:30. Got in the ring, and he got in the ring. I was like, okay, he's big.
First time you see him.
First time I see him, we get the ref calls us to the center, and I swear to God, my eyes are in this guy's chest. Like, I'm tall, I'm 6'3", my eyes are in this guy's chest. And I thought, okay, this is gonna be a night's work. And we start the fight, we start boxing, what, and I find myself on the ropes, and the next moment I open my eyes, I'm lying with my nose on the canvas, like flat on the canvas. And I just hear the ref counting, and I was like, holy shit. Did that really just happen? This guy hit me with a punch I didn't even see, and he just cleaned me out, like knocked me down. Like, he didn't put me out cold, but it knocked me down. And I've never been knocked down in a fight before, ever. I've never even been hurt in a fight before. Knocked me down. I was like, holy shit. Okay. Don't let that happen again, son. Got up, the ref, I think he counted till 8, touched my gloves. I said, no, I'm fine. The guy comes again, wallop, puts me down again. I move around, I get up again, I move. End of the first round, I get to my corner. My coach isn't even there. It's the amateur. It's one of the amateur, the boys that's there helping me in the corner. His eyes are like this. He doesn't know what's going on. He just gives me water. I'm just sitting there like, what am I gonna do to this guy? He's huge. We get to the second round, and then I'm like, okay, it's gonna be him or me. There's no way I'm winning this fight on points, because he's already like 3 rounds up, because you get an extra point if you knock someone down. So basically he has 3 rounds and I have none in the first round. So I go out there, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be you or me, son. Let's have a fight now. And we get to the middle of the ring, and he throws his right again. I slip and I throw a left, and I catch him square, and he wobbles. And I tried to finish him, but my legs didn't work. Like, I couldn't move forward. I was doing like a funny dance the whole way through the fight. And then, yeah, he put me down a third time, and then the ref waved off the fight. But yeah, that was my holy shit moment.
A triple holy shit.
Triple holy shit.
One night.
To be fair. Yeah.
Fighting giants.
All for the price of one.
That's awesome. Okay,
not
and
awesome
then
for me.
Before we head off into the quick questions or the speed round,
Yeah.
the single scariest thing, we say outside of Corona, what was the single scariest thing? And I think it's the scariest thing is probably when it comes to boxing or modeling.
Not a lot that scares me. But I have to say, when we went to that trip to the Zambezi, and we were at Namushasha. Now, Namushasha is a beautiful lodge. And we got there like at lunchtime, we shot some stuff, you know. And they were like, okay, no, we're going to go on this boat cruise now. Like, go around. There's like a lot of little bends that you go around. And all of us are like in one boat, I think. I think all of us was in like one big boat. And you were at the back with your camera, and you were standing up, and I was here, and you and your girlfriend were here. Shout out Jesse. And he was standing there, and all of a sudden, this huge fucking hippo comes out of the water like 2-3 meters from the boat's engine and just makes a leap for the boat. And this dude just claps the accelerator, the boat lifts, and we all shoot. And all of us are like freaking out because we didn't even see the hippo coming out of the water. You almost fall in the water. Like all of us just grab you by the shirt.
I think it was like 3 people grabbing my belt.
And you just like snapping the camera away. But yeah, that was quite scary. You don't mess with the hippos.
I got one good photograph.
At least.
Yeah, of the hippo. So at least. But that was a scary moment.
That was a scary moment.
But I do encourage people, please go to Namashasha. It is a hell of an experience. Okay. So we're going to go to the speed round, Gino. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. It's yes and no answers, maybe a one-liner or something. Okay. But before we go into that, I want you to show me the stance.
Stance.
Show me a stance.
Must I stand up? Oh.
No, you could just sit there. Okay. Just as you would punch the microphone. How would you? Yeah, okay. So that's how quick the answers need to come now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What are you currently consuming on YouTube?
IFL TV and Boxing Social. I'm a bit of a nerd.
That's okay. Interesting person, though. Okay, I think we know how much you actually work during the day. How many hours do you sleep?
I'm lucky if I get about 6 hours. 6-7 hours, yeah. Maybe 8 on weekends. If I'm not running.
If you're not running, exactly.
Which is never.
If you're not running 56 kilometers over the weekend.
No, yes. I won't do that anytime soon again. I promise my feet.
Are you into Instagram Reels?
No, I'm not. I watch them, but I don't do them myself. And if I watch them, it's 1 or 2.
Okay, so it doesn't consume you.
Oh, no.
Okay, you have a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend on your Instagram direct messaging?
Direct messaging.
Minuscule.
Okay.
If you had a chance, would you fight Ali when he was at the top?
I get my ass kicked, but yeah, I would fight him because there would be a lot of money. So yes.
What is your dream fight?
Any fight in Las Vegas in front of about 50,000 people would be dope. So I can take my dad and we can go gambling.
Ah, nice. So I'm just throwing this in here, just between all the fighting questions, like LinkedIn, under or overrated?
Overrated. Overrated. It's boring. No one goes on LinkedIn. Let's not lie.
Professional boxer.
Yeah. Who cares?
What is your motto or your philosophy?
My philosophy is that I live by the rule that I hate losing more than I love winning.
That's a pretty good one.
That's what drives me.
That's deep, man.
Yeah.
That's Adele level deep. Okay, I'm going to ask this in any case, but you're a combination of full-time employed and actually, we usually put here freelancer, but business owner, you are your own brand. Yeah. What would you choose to be full-time?
Full-time. If I could be a model, that would be the easiest thing to be full-time. But I love being a coach and being a fighter. So I would take either or.
Okay.
Yeah.
One sentence, what would you tell your younger self?
Don't quit, ever.
Okay, that's cool. Your favorite app?
Favorite app? It's Java. I see what you all are doing.
Do you follow the Sessions podcast?
Of course I follow the Sessions podcast. I'm on it.
Is there anybody you would like to recommend for Sessions?
I could recommend a wonderful woman that I know, Mamira. She is a pilot, she is a model, she is a motivational speaker. I think you would get a real kick out of talking to her.
Okay, awesome.
Mamira, yeah.
You hear that? You're the next one on the show. Is there anything you would like to say to the people out there? Anything? Just something random, something unique, something to them, something to us, anything.
Yeah, I want to say something. I know it's hard for everyone now, and a lot of people are depressed, and it's tough being at home, and it's tough not, making what you used to make. But one thing that'll always make you feel better is doing some physical exercise. Go for a run, go for a swim, go for a bike ride, get those feel-good endorphins flowing, and you will turn things around. A lot of people a lot worse off than you have turned around from very bad situations through physical exercise. And there's no such thing as I don't have time or I can't. If I can, you can.
Daai het julle dit mense ook. Ek het nou mooi geluister vir Gino daarso. But actually I keep telling people, like, I know it's terrible out there, but if there's one place, it's the first time in my life I was ever like really thankful to be here during a crisis like this, because we have the outdoors.
For sure. We aren't stuck in a box.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your favorite drink?
Stoute Coke Zero.
I'm always hoping to catch people out with this question, because the next one is like, do you make use of Lefa?
No, I'm a sober driver.
Well done to you, sir. Okay, ask you that. And any last piece of advice that you would like to give to the people out there? Just
last piece of advice.
Yeah.
Last piece of advice. Come watch me fight the 10th of April at the country club. It'll make you feel a lot better watching people beat the crap out of each other than sitting at home and doing nothing. Thank you.
Awesome, honest response there, people. Please go watch the fight and support our local sportsmen, sportswomen, and yeah, like you said, watch them beat the shit out of someone.
It's gonna be a great night.
Gino, thank you for being on the show. It was an honor to have you. And yeah, good luck with your fights. Good luck with building all these different careers.
Thanks.
We'll be in your corner shouting for you. And yeah, may it be a beautiful bloodbath.
Thank you so much, Yaku. Thank you for having me. Thanks to Mani for having me, who's not with us in studio. Thanks to Pro Studio. Thanks to Sessions Podcast. Go and follow them on YouTube, on Instagram. Yeah, follow Sessions and Pro Studio, and shout out to Gondwana. If you don't already follow them, give them a follow.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. This was another episode of Sessions. Our guest today was Gino, and check in the description down below for all the links to Gino's modeling pages, his boxing pages. Go join him at the gym. Go see him at the service station. Catch you in the next episode.